Hi, hello, my fellow fast trackers. I hope everybody is doing well today. I am so excited now that I have started this video journey here on YouTube. I'm so excited to be doing this because I have so much information that I want to share with you, fast trackers, and anybody else who might be watching. But, I was talking to another fast tracker the other day, and we were both saying what we wouldn't have given in the beginning to have somebody say, okay, this is what you're going through. And, this is what you can do to help, and everything's going to be okay. And you are not alone. And I do have a wonderful, wonderful support system in my spiritual community that I'm really grateful for. But the fast track is a niche. Fast track is a smaller segment. There are going to be more of us, I believe, as we go through time. But even so, it is a smaller segment of our greater spiritual community. So, you might only be the only fast tracker in your spiritual community. You might be the only person that that's going through it in this particular manner. So if that's the case, then I just want to put this information out there and, hopefully it'll help somebody out there. Now, as always, with any information that you take in on a daily basis, I highly encourage you to, use your internal barometer and check in with yourself and say, okay, does this resonate with me? If it does, that's great. That's fantastic. Take it with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, then let it go. All right, so let's get started. Today, I want to talk to you about Ascension symptoms. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right, now let me see if I can get this. Okay, and play. There we go. All right. So Ascension symptoms, what are they? Well, your spiritual body is in the process of upgrading. So you've got quite a lot of new energy, new light, new information that's coming into your body, into your field. And then you have energy that no longer serves you that's going out. So obviously there's a whole lot going on in your field. And for us fast trackers, it's happening at a pretty quick rate. So what happens is your spiritual body moves forward, and then your physical body is still here and kind of saying, okay, we're not in the same place that we just were. So I've got to catch up. Right. And so it's during that catch up phase that you might feel that turbulence and those symptoms. And it makes sense, right, that the symptoms can be more pronounced for fast trackers simply by virtue of the fact that you're doing all of this a lot quicker. So you've got to move the energy a lot faster, and you've got to, the quantity of it is going to be larger too. Okay, so what are the actual symptoms? Well, I would encourage you to do your research and look around online, check in with yourself and see what you're feeling. But there's also a lot of really good information online if you're having trouble lining up, is this an Ascension symptom or is this potentially something else? So there is a lot of good information out there. My personal symptoms that I experienced were extreme fatigue. I had meetings in the beginning with this wonderful woman in Colorado who is a shaman, and, she and I would talk on the phone for an hour, and then I would immediately have to pass out and I would sleep for about 2 or 3 hours because just that conversation over the phone from the East Coast all the way out to Colorado was just exhausting. So that definitely can happen. I also experienced a lot of dizziness. If I would stand up, if I would get out of the bed and stand up too fast, forget it. I mean, I would just about fall over. I would have to sit back down on the bed until I could, right myself. Nausea was a big one, still is. All of these symptoms I'm really still going through to a certain extent, but they're really so much better than they were before. Headaches, definitely had a lot of headaches. Pressure. The pressure is a lot of times on the back of my head, which is where the Ascension chakra is located. So at the very base of the neck and the kind of the occipital lobe region, I definitely experienced a whole lot of pressure there. Also ringing in the ears. Pretty sure this has been going on for about 2 years now. It's gotten to the point where most of the time I don't even hear it anymore unless I tune into it. Changes in sleep. So I have definitely found myself awake in the middle of the night pretty often since this process started. I used to be a great sleeper and, I would sleep soundly through the night and didn't have any problems. But, that definitely does seem to be changing a little bit. Also, irritability, and you can have anger, you can have just upset, sadness. There are a lot of emotions that are coming up to the surface as your body is letting those go. And so you could definitely feel some of those things on the emotional side. And then a heaviness. It was just a general heaviness in my body. I felt like I was wearing a backpack full of, big, huge rocks. And so every muscle in my body just felt tired and heavy is the best way to explain it. All right. So what makes it better? What can you do to kind of help yourself get through this time where your body is just in a constant state of adjustment? Well, this is when it can be really important to develop your own personalized wellness and self-care practice. And this is something that I did over the course of the last year, and I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. I'm going to do another episode specifically on this, but in the meantime, it's just so important to put your focus on taking care of yourself. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're hydrating, drinking plenty of water. What does that mean, drinking plenty of water? That's kind of subjective, right? Well, it's really based on your body weight. You should be drinking a minimum of half of your body weight in ounces a day. So for example, if you weigh 200 pounds, then you should be drinking 100 ounces of water every day. There is a process called the water cure, which I absolutely love. And I will put the link to that information below so that you can check that out. But that is my absolute favorite way of making sure that I'm hydrated. And it's a method of hydration. And once you start reading into it, chances are for you, it might make some sense. Also, eating healthy foods, staying away from trigger foods, things like that. Just doing the best that you can with making sure that you're putting wholesome, foods in your body. Body work helps a ton. So having massages, having Reiki sessions, doing sound healings. There's so many different types of body work out there. So I would say start trying some things, figure out what works for you, what really helps kind of move that through. Acupuncture is another really good one. So that can definitely help you along in this process. Talk therapy too, I think is great. Talking to a shaman, talking to an energy worker, a light worker, and just having people sort of explain the process to you and give you an idea about what you're going through. That for me was very helpful. Breath work and meditation, doing this every day, or at least as much as you possibly can. If you're just starting out with this, of course, like we talked about last time, begin at the beginning, take it slow, only do it, a couple of minutes at the beginning until you can build up and do it a little bit longer. But that is absolutely huge. And one of the most foundational things I think you can do on your path to spiritual awakening. Spending time in nature is a huge one. Absolutely huge. Go outside, walk on the trails if you've got trails nearby, and just listen to the birds, listen to the wind rustling through the trees, look at the water, whatever you have nature-wise as a resource, definitely use that. That's going to help you stay grounded, get grounded. I was not grounded at all. And we'll talk more about that in another episode too. But getting grounded and staying grounded is extremely important during this time. And the more grounded you can be, the more it's going to help you. And spending time in nature is a really big way to do that. Salt baths are one of my absolute favorite tools to use, simply because it feels so good. I love to take baths. I know not everybody does, but I personally absolutely love taking baths. So you fill the bathtub up, you put in 2 cups of Epsom salts, 2 to 3 tablespoons of baking powder, or baking soda, actually, I think is probably more accurate, baking soda. And then a couple drops of your favorite essential oils. So this feels really good, and a warm bath with salt in it is going to absolutely help your body move some of that energy through. So that's a really vital tool. I take a salt bath almost every single day. So definitely recommend that. Also, doing your research, the more you know, the more it can benefit you and then potentially others down the road. Um, so learning about the path that you're on, learning about yourself, the whole process really is such a huge learning experience, and you'll definitely benefit from that. But just being open to learning about all of that can be extremely helpful. And the most important thing that you can do during this process is to be kind to yourself. Awareness is key, saying, okay, I'm on the fast track. I'm experiencing ascension symptoms. I know that I'm going to get through this. So that can be so helpful. It can just help you cope with what you're going through. Again, give yourself grace, have compassion for yourself. It's so important, and I promise it will help ease the process. Exercise patience. It doesn't happen overnight. Yes, we are on the fast track, but an important part of this is not to try and rush it. You want to just put yourself in a place where you can be in the process and where you can allow it to happen at the rate that it's going to naturally happen and unfold. And so rushing and trying to do it too quickly actually can be counterproductive. So yeah, it's going to happen fast. It's going to happen quickly for the fast trackers, but still you don't want to push. Just kind of sit back and allow. That was a really, really big lesson for me, because that's just not the way that I did things in the past. I'm a pusher, I'm a go-getter. I just wanted, okay, this is our task. This is how we're going to tackle it. Let's make a list. These are our action items. That's how I always used to do things before. So just learning how to sit back and allow was an incredibly big lesson for me to learn, but I value it so much now that I've got it, or mostly got it. Some of these lessons we learn more than one time. Laugh when you can. Some of this stuff can be pretty heavy. My intention from the beginning of this was to be very candid with you about that, but that doesn't mean that it has to be so serious and so heavy all the time. Laugh your way through it when you can. Laugh at yourself. You're feeling like shit and you felt like shit for 3 days, and you can maybe laugh at yourself about the fact that you're still in the same pajamas from 3 days ago and you haven't brushed your hair in a couple of days. And okay, well, maybe I will brush my teeth here in just a few minutes. If that's not normally how you operate, you can give yourself some grace there and maybe laugh at yourself a little bit for what's happening. And that absolutely can help. So anytime, any way that you can add levity to the situation, add that levity in where you can, because that certainly helps. And just know, again, that you absolutely can do this. You are so strong. You chose this path. That's a really good thing to remember too, is before you were ever even born, you decided that at this point in your life right now is when you were going to go on to your spiritual awakening path. And on that path, you were going to do it as a fast tracker. So you have always known the most true version of yourself, the highest version of yourself, has always known that this was going to happen, and has always known that you can do it because it was orchestrated that way. That's how you orchestrated it from the beginning. So you've got this. You absolutely have this. And I want you to know that I support you. I'm sending you so much love through this process. I've got your back. The universe has your back. Your divine team, your spiritual guides have your back. They are with you all the time, and they are sending you so much love and so much support. So just know that everything's going to be okay, and you're going to make it through this. Just keep plugging away, put one foot in front of the other, and it's all going to be good. So also, I wanted to tell you that I'm super, super proud of you for sticking with this, even when it's hard. I know sometimes you might want to quit. You might just say, this is too much. I don't feel like doing this. And you have every right to feel that way. So honor your feelings. But if you decide to stick with it, then I just want to say thank you for that. And another thing is, it is okay. If it feels like too much, it's okay to say to your guides, hey, I need a break. I need this. I need some relief. I need some support. I need some help. Ask them for help. Anytime you ask them for help, they absolutely will help you. And so don't be afraid to reach out to them and say, yes, I'm on the fast track, but that doesn't mean that I have to be like this all the time. You can say, okay, I need a break. I need a break. I need a break. And they'll give you a break. And just because you take a little break doesn't mean that you're not on the fast track anymore. You're still on the fast track. You're not going to derail yourself. You're still going to do it really quickly, but it's okay to pull the reins back a little bit. Absolutely. Okay. So I hope that was helpful for you. And I want to tell you about some things that I have coming up. I want to talk to you about why you're on the fast track, why you know, how did that happen? I also want to talk to you about resources. I've found some amazing resources either online or in books, lots of different information that has helped me tremendously along the way. And so I want to share that with you. And there's going to be a whole lot of other good stuff coming. So thank you so much for taking a few minutes to share with me today. And I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you soon.